What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Zabulon Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. And y'all, the Philadelphia 76ers got their guy as they signed Paul George to a 4-year, $212 million deal. And y'all, I feel like the Sixers had to do this because last week the New York Knicks traded for Mikal Bridges. And y'all, I feel like after the Knicks made their trade, it made them the second best team in the Eastern Conference. And I still think they're a little bit better than the Sixers. But now that the Sixers have Paul George, the Sixers are going to be a big contender, y'all, in the Eastern Conference. I think they're the third best team in the Eastern Conference, and potentially when it's all said and done, they could end up being the second best team in the East. But you look at Paul George, y'all, he's still an elite two-way player. He's a guy that this past season for the Clippers averaged nearly 23 points, about 5.2 rebounds per game, and 1.5 steals per game. And he shot 41% from three and 90% from the free throw line. So Paul George is still one of the better two-way players in the league. He fills a major hole that the Sixers had, y'all, because let's be honest, the last 5 years that the Sixers had Tobias Harris on their team, Tobias Harris was just not getting it done. Man, in today's game, you need that elite two-way, 3-and-D wing, and the Sixers have not had that. Now they have that in Paul George, and obviously Paul George is more than just a 3-and-D wing because he's also an elite shot creator, and he can create shots for his teammates. So I just love this from a fit perspective. You now have a big three, y'all, of Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. And what I really love about this big three is that their skill sets don't overlap one another. They each bring something different to the table. Y'all, think about when James Harden was in Philly. To me, him and Tyrese Maxey, their skill sets were overlapping with one another. And I feel like that's why Tyrese Maxey wasn't really able to take off until James Harden left, because James Harden needs the ball in his hands. Tyrese Maxey needs the ball in his hands. But Paul George can play off the ball. He shot nearly 45%, y'all, on catch-and-shoot threes last season. So this just makes a ton of sense from a fit perspective. And for the Philadelphia 76ers, you have to feel good. You have to like your chances to potentially win the NBA championship, because y'all, the Sixers have as much top-end talent as anybody does in the league. I mean, again, you have a big three of Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. Y'all, this big three reminds me a lot of the old Cavaliers big three when they had Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Love. And the reason I'm comparing this Sixers big three to the Cavs big three is because, y'all, the Cavs big three had their point guard, they had their small forward, they had their center. And obviously Kyrie and LeBron, they're better players than Tyrese Maxey and Paul George. And, you know, Joel Embiid's a better player than Kevin Love. But when you look at having Tyrese Maxey point guard, Paul George small forward, Joel Embiid center, that's exactly what the Cavs had. The Cavs were able to win the championship. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying that the Sixers are going to win the championship, but y'all, they have three elite players at three of the most important positions in the NBA. So I love it. This move, y'all, put the rest of the Eastern Conference on notice. Like, if you're the Knicks, you have to look like, ooh, okay, now the Sixers have Paul George to go along with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. But y'all, again, the Sixers had no choice but to do this, right? They had to do this. You got to keep Joel Embiid happy. There's no way in the world that Joel Embiid was going to be happy, y'all, if the Sixers went out there and say signed a couple of guys, you know, for $20 million instead of giving Paul George $50 million. Now, let's get into this contract because I know it's a very big contract, y'all. So you look at year one, Paul George is going to be making $49 million, year two, $51 million, year three, $54 million, and year four, $56 million. Now, y'all, those last 2 years, that's where this deal can become really, really horrible, depending on the kind of player that Paul George is by then. Because you're talking about in 2027, y'all, he will be 37, and then you go to 27-28 season, he'll turn 38. So we don't know if Paul George is still going to be the same caliber player today than he will be then, y'all. We're going to have to wait and see. Because I know a lot of people think that, you know, everybody ages the same way LeBron does. Y'all, LeBron has, you know, not had a ton of injuries in his career. Paul George has been very injury prone in his career, right? So let's see if he's still going to be that same caliber player. But for the first 2 years of this deal, Paul George should be a great player, and the Sixers absolutely are championship contenders. Now, y'all, can they win a championship? Yes. Do I think they win a championship? I don't know yet. Because the biggest thing about having Paul George now on this team, y'all, is you have two guys, and him and Joel Embiid, that have a very lengthy injury history, okay? And if you're a Sixers fan, that really has to scare you. Now, Paul George, again, like I just stated, he's still an elite player. Joel Embiid, obviously, is probably the best center in the NBA. But these are both guys, y'all, that have missed a lot of games in their career. So if you're a Sixers fan, you have to at least be concerned about that. I know a lot of Sixers fans are happy, and they should be. Y'all should be happy as Sixers fans because you finally have a chance to really compete for a championship. But you have to think about Paul George and Joel Embiid potentially getting injured. Because y'all, if either one of these guys has to miss a lot of games, the Sixers, their chances are over with, right? Because this is a top-heavy team. The Knicks have depth. So let's say Mikal Bridges has to miss some games. They're going to be okay because they have, you know, Josh Hart that can fill right in. Let's say if Jalen Brunson has to miss games, it's okay because they got Miles McBride. If Joel Embiid or Paul George has to miss games, y'all, the Sixers are going to be screwed because they don't have the depth that the Knicks have. So they really need those two guys to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, absolutely, the Sixers can win the championship. If they don't, y'all, their chances are over, right? And they don't just need them to stay healthy for the playoffs, obviously, but they need them to stay healthy during the regular season because you want to have a high enough seed because we saw this past season, y'all, Joel Embiid, he had to miss about 30-plus games. And what happened to the Sixers? They ended up being the 7th seed, having to face the New York Knicks. Whereas when Joel Embiid was healthy, the Sixers, they were like the 2 or 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. So these guys have to stay healthy, y'all. I would say I really, really like this deal. I don't love this deal because of the two things I just brought up. Paul George's age and then that contract, y'all, that's going to get really, really horrible. I'll go back and show you. I mean, this contract could be really bad. Like $56 million when Paul George is 38. Let's say Paul George is not even the same player by then. And wow, I mean, that's going to be probably the worst contract in the NBA. But again, I get why the Sixers did this because this is an all-in move. They realized, hey, the Eastern Conference just keeps getting better and better. We saw them yesterday, the Magic, they signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So now the Magic, they just got better. We already know the Celtics are the best team in the NBA. The Indiana Pacers, they're a young up-and-coming team. You can't sleep on Miami Heat. You still got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who still got Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley. So Daryl Morey realized, man, the Eastern Conference just keeps getting better. And for us to keep up with the top-end teams, we're going to have to kind of swing for the fences, and that's exactly what they did. Now, we'll see if this pays off for them. Again, y'all, this could end up being a pretty bad contract, especially later on. By year 3, this contract, when Paul George is 37, this could end up being a really bad deal for the Sixers because who knows what Paul George will be by then. But again, for the first 2 years of this deal, it should be amazing because I think Paul George is still going to be a great player even when he's 35, 36 years old. So for the Philadelphia 76ers, this is a really good move. Again, I can't say it's a great move because of the injury history and Paul George's age and that contract, but this is a really good move. And as long as they're healthy, y'all, the Philadelphia 76ers should be championship contenders, man. So there y'all have it. There was another episode of the Zay Millar Sports Podcast. Remember, y'all, left is good message, so make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm going to end it, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.